Here we are again,
We're back.
breaking it down.
Breaking it freaking down.
Break it down.
You know, every day we wake up, there's something going on, Aaron. I think that's a lot for people just in life in general. And sometimes these things are things that are happening in the current, and sometimes these are things that have happened in the past, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
and stories that stick with you, because I have a feeling every time you ask me a story to tell a story and I ask you, there are some that happen to us. I'm not going to even give away some of the future stories, Anthony, but there are stories inside of your head right now that you're holding on to that would just turn people's world upside down. I want to let people know right now, keep watching these videos because they're going to get better and better. The stories are getting better and better. And there are secrets and stories and situations that both Anthony and I have been in, and I know, and we know you have been in, that are unbelievable. Unbelievable. So
we're putting it out there.
Putting it out there.
You know what? You know, the shackles and chains are off on these stories. We're putting it out there. Keep coming back, because we are taking the Impractical Jokers and the Seinfeld-esque experience. It's like making its own love child. And we're just straight talking good times here. Yeah, and dude, you know what's funny, Aaron? Recently, I don't know what made me think of this, and I don't remember all the details specifically from the situation that you were in. But
yeah, which one? Which one? Every day I wake up, something's going on. Shout out to the staff.
Shout out to the staff. I remember vaguely you being in college. I think you were maybe in your first year, potentially your first day or week of college. And there was a situation, again, quote me if I'm wrong. You were sent something, a package, an envelope in the mail that led you down a downward spiral of anxiety that ultimately led to you being transported to a hospital. I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah, it's about right. It's about right. It's actually that's Anthony, that's the PG version. But yeah, this would
have been early 2000s, maybe 2002-ish.
2001, I believe. Yep,
okay.
That's a special year. And not a good way.
Not in a good way. Take us there. Take me back. Transport me in your time machine. Hold on, I'm getting in. I'm in the time machine.
Hey, listen.
Take me back to 2001. Aaron Colafado, fresh out of high school, fresh out of the high of a movie release. What was it? What was the movie called? Senior year?
Disclosure.
Shout out to the staff.
Shout out to the staff.
You're coming off a high of a movie red carpet premiere, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
Girls flaunting you. You're being wined and dined. Aaron, you're going to a next level of career status to pursue art, film, music. Your life is just beginning. You enter, I believe this is going to be your first week of college. Take us here. What is going on?
Well, one, I was excited to go to college because I was in the film and theater program, and I was just ready to go, man. I thought, like, I had ideas of going to New York and Los Angeles and stuff. When you're from the Midwest, you don't really know exactly how the business or entertainment business works. So you kind of you hear stories and what you should do and what some of the people you admire do. But I thought the best start would be, let me go to college first, test a smaller market and learn. I had a lot to learn. Plus, I didn't have the money to go out and live in those big market cities. So anyways, I was excited. I got to be honest with you. It was a sign. My drive there, first day, I got stung by a hornet on my arm.
There it is.
Anthony, are you serious? I remember, you know how when the windows are open and it's a beautiful summer day and you're doing this, you see people doing this, you let the wind hit your arm, and it's it's a good thing, right? And I'm looking at the campus of Bowling Green State University where I went to college, and I remember saying out loud, I can't believe this is going to be one of the best moments of my life. Said out loud, my mom's driving the car, life-changing moment. All of a sudden I feel a pressure on my arm. It's burning. I'm stung terribly by a hornet.
Have you ever thought about this? This is crazy. Total random thought.
Yeah.
Is it possible that there's some irony that we graduated as Medina bees and you were being stung like you're leaving me? Look,
a rival hornet. Yep.
Yeah. The hornet from our high school followed you and said, you know what? You think you can just leave me?
Not a chance. Not without being hurt.
So you're stung by a bee with
Dude,
your mom. You're on your way to
I'm
college.
stung, and it was really bad too because it was one of those. I think I don't know if it was a hornet, bee, wasp, something, but it was one that like it wasn't just like, oh, like your regular. This one like hurt. My whole arm is
Yeah.
throbbing. I get a migraine. My first day of college, I got a major migraine that I had to overcome. I have to sleep for 2 days to get rid of it because the bee sting triggered something. So not a great start. I
No.
finally come to. I go to a few of my classes. I got my roommate. He went to high school with us. Our buddy Jay. Things are moving along. Everything's good. Classes start, and I said, you know, it's going to be great, man. It's fantastic. And as you know, all joking aside, I wake up in the morning and Jay comes to me. And he's on the top bunk. I'm on the bottom bunk. We're in this little dorm. He goes, New York's on fire. I said, what are you?
Ah,
I said, what are you talking about? New York's on fire. He goes,
no.
New York's on fire. And he turns on the TV, and that's when I saw Twin Towers.
Oh, man.
That I can't even go down that road because that,
No.
but I have to give you that context
Yeah.
because if you remember, anybody who was there remembers, it was the most surreal. You're just
Right.
everybody collectively, clearly, people were experiencing direct trauma that we're not even going to try to put ourselves into because we weren't there. We didn't lose lives. We didn't lose loved ones, me
Right.
personally. But even outside of those people who are the ones that really would need to pay homage to, focus to, because of
Right.
their pain, still around the nation, we were feeling it because it was just this bizarre event. And I remember
Yeah.
watching the TV, man, just being like, what the hell is going on? Buildings are collapsing.
Yeah.
So that was my first week of college. And
This is heavy.
I remember people being like, hey, we had to cancel classes. We had to say, what do you do? And people were leaving, going home. You know, there were some people had family in New York and DC, and you know, there was a plane that went over Cleveland and then crashed.
Yeah.
We had a
Yeah.
lot of situations. So it was chaos. So I just got to starting a little heavy, but but it's going to get kind of funny. I'm going to bring some joy out of this, at least to bring some humor into this whole situation from a personal standpoint, because that's the backdrop, right? So you have to understand this is not a nowhere. This was the state of mind of people all over the country. Now,
Right.
most people were able to kind of deal with it. Anthony, as you know, struggling with anxiety and things like that, I was in a different gear. So it wasn't even that I was scared. It was just the whole phenomenon got me on high alert. I'm on high alert. And I started watching the news. I'm watching the news 24/7.
Yeah. This
I
is trouble.
couldn't go to yeah, yeah. I couldn't go to I couldn't go to class. I couldn't go anywhere because they shut down classes. It was like for almost a week. So I'm here 20 years old, whatever, not even 18, 19 years old. I'm watching TV and you're watching the footage over and over and over again. And as this happens over the next days and weeks, stories begin to emerge of more things happening in the wake of this, scares, terrorist threats, things
Got
like
it.
that. And there were people, from what I remember, I saw a news story, people in the news industry were receiving packages and letters, and some of them almost dangerously poisoned
Really?
by anthrax. They're
I'm not,
opening
look,
up,
look,
they're
I'm
opening
not
it up.
laughing,
No, no, but I'm saying like, so I
but
just,
I am.
this is the true story. I,
I
I
remember
remember
hearing about
I
this.
remember they were like, "Oh, there's someone," and they were like, "Yeah, people in hazmat suits, like, don't touch the letters." The next day, I kind of my mind, I kind of put it out of my mind. I go to the cafeteria, get some shepherd's pie, maybe a little
Oh,
fried
great.
chicken.
Shout
Yeah,
out to the staff.
shout out to the staff, a little bit of brown
Yeah.
gravy on top of the
Oh,
instant mashed
put
potatoes.
the damn gravy on it.
Yeah, how about some chocolate milk in the carton? Put a little straw through the aluminum foil. Let's get to work. I have some lunch. I go back to my dorm, but we had mailboxes.
Here we go.
I'm really excited about getting mail because honestly, I was getting really homesick, missing my. I didn't want to tell them that, but I was missing home. It's hard, you know. You and I are people of pattern, and when change happens, it takes me. I know it takes you some time to adjust, longer than most people. It takes me usually a few months sometimes to
Easily.
adjust. Sometimes a year.
Can I say something real quick before
Jump
we
in.
get into the next segment here? I just want to highlight a couple things. Change in life is a major stress, right? Like, and when we're young, that is even more amplified. So, like leaving home for your very first time, anything else that we just talked about, 9/11, the bee sting, being away from home, your family, to your point, your friends, That is a major life event. And that right there in itself, on not even including anything else, is a huge adjustment, right? For an individual, even me as a grown adult, moving from one city to another, one state to another, it takes a while to adjust.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's a lot compounding at one
There was a
time,
lot.
and the bee stings included. Because
Yes,
it's
it
like,
is.
hey, this is a welcome to my new journey on the road, right? You get there. 9/11 happens. You're trying to process. Aaron, we're not even talking about the stressors of you have to now learn to live with someone you've never lived with before. There's all these moving
A lot
parts,
of
all these
variables.
dynamics. All you're thinking about is how much gravy am I going to put on my shepherd's pie? Am I going to get a biscuit? Am I going to get potatoes or green beans? Well, maybe not potatoes because shepherd pie is potato. You get the point. So
Yeah.
now you get back to the dorm. You're excited about the possibility of having some mail. Maybe there's some baked cookies from your mom, chocolate chip, oatmeal, raisin, peanut butter. Who knows? We don't know, but your excitement level to get this package or mail, fan mail from Disclosure, anything's possible.
For my high school film. I love it. Hey, anything's possible. Shout out to the staff.
Anything's possible. Shout out to the staff, major Hollywood directors. You don't know what could be in these packages, but this is your way away from the stress. So
Yes,
I'm gonna give the mic back to you.
You painted the picture perfectly. You're right. To me, that mailbox symbolized a way to kind of disconnect and reconnect with the small things in life.
Right.
You know, everyday things. I remember there was this line in the movie Signs that M. Night Shyamalan made. I think it was like his last good movie. That's just my opinion.
Great movie.
Love the movie. And I don't know if there's a line that there's a police officer that comes to the house and she's trying to console Mel Gibson's character and the family, and Joaquin Phoenix is there. They kind of got this family trying to support, and all these crazy things are happening in the movie. And I will never forget the line written where the police officer, I can't remember the actor's name, she's fantastic, but she just delivers it. And she says something like, you need to relax, get your mind on everyday things. And when she keep your mind on everyday things, and she was, that's good medicine. Keeping your mind, and it really is. What they mean by everyday things is the things that aren't chaotic, the things that we take for granted. I think getting up, making a cup of coffee, if you go outside, if you have a garden, if you live in the woods, if you live in the city, and these little things around you, the smells in the morning and the way the sun comes in through the window, appreciating the everyday things. So you painted the picture perfectly. Me going to the mailbox was just trying to connect with those everyday things, because who knows what's in the mail? Maybe it's cookies from my mom or a letter. I open it up and there was a few things, unfortunately no letters from home. So that was a little, I was out there.
Where's my
love
letters?
you, Mom. Hey, Mom, I love you. She was just probably happy to have me out of the house. But here's the thing. I'm sifting through the letters and there was this one, and I remember it looked pretty important. It looked like a bank letter or something like that. Like, and it wasn't a scam email. As you know, there's a lot of scams in our lives that people have attempted, but this was just a legitimate looking letter. And I remember opening it, and there was like this white powdery substance. So much so that when it got on my thumb, it almost looked like, listen, I've never done cocaine, but like powdered sugar, cocaine, it got on my thumb. Like I could see. In fact, I remember having a dark shirt and I like wiped it off and you could see the streak of white, like someone put powdered sugar. And I swear to God,
powdered sugar, maybe where's the cookies?
Someone ate them. UPS guy, mail delivery. Hey, listen, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you, didn't think twice about it. It's just like stuff from a letter, whatever, you know? And so I ripped the letter up because it ended up being whatever, it wasn't important. I threw it away. And I'm wiping the thing up. We had an elevator. I was on the 10th floor. It's a big, tall dorm. It wasn't just, it was like really tall towers, they called them, the Offenhauer Towers. In BGSU. Yeah, I know. It sounds like some weird German castle. But we're going up the elevators. I say we, because a bunch of people stuffed in it, looking at my shirt. Start thinking about the news stories I was seeing. It just hits me. You know those moments where it's like, and I was like, and then all I hear is like people receiving letters with anthrax. It's a white, if you get anything with a white substance, go immediately to the authorities. You may need to be hospital. Anthony,
you're done. You're at this point.
It's
You're well done. Pull Aaron out of the oven. It's over.
I'm like, I got this stuff. Like I'm done.
You're done.
I got him in my head in this moment, Anthony, and I'm not joking. I thought I had mere hours to live. I didn't, in my mind, it meant, again, the background of what you're going through. People are taking
I'm
over the
crying right
country.
now, by the way, for the record.
I'm literally, people are taking over the country. People are flying planes. It's not crazy to think
It's
that
not.
there's some crazy shit going on in the mail. Yes, I know it's me. Why me on the door? I know it. Yes, it's insane, but it's also not insane. Does this make sense? At the same time, it's insane. But so here's the problem, though.
You're in that. Hold on.
Oh, I'm in the elevator.
You're in the elevator with a
gotta hold
bunch
it
of
together.
people. Yeah,
I can't.
you're in the elevator. You're in an elevator with a bunch of people you don't know. You have this come to Jesus moment where you're like, oh, hold on a second. Maybe it's not sugar from cookies that never made it to me. There's a possibility this was a terrorist attack. So you're and look, and I'm saying this in a way of seriousness, not taking light of the fact that we did have a terrorist attack
no,
on our
for
people,
real.
on our land. But you're thinking there's a possibility your first week of college.
What's this white stuff?
You've ingested anthrax.
I've never, you ever gotten a letter with that? Has anyone ever gotten what is this white powder that looks like?
Really, we need Aaron, there's a possibility that someone intentionally did that to mess with you. We don't know the ending of this until we get to the end. But here's the thing.
Yep.
You're in the elevator. What are you doing? You're watching the floor Christmas tree. You're watching floor 10, floor 9. Some people get on, some people get off. Get the fuck out of here. I need to get to a hospital. Here's my language. What is going through your mind?
What's going through my mind is first, don't pass out. Because at this point, Anthony, I started.
I don't know how we're going to get through this episode.
I promise you we have a good thing at the end here. Stay with us. Anthony, I promise you with everything on my family's eyes. That's a very Italian American thing. When they say that means you promise. When you say I promise to my father's eyes, that's a big deal. I promise. I swear to you, I kind of had to lean up against someone in the elevator because I felt like, one, I wasn't trying to give him the anthrax. At this point, I'm just trying to stand up. I'm afraid I'm gonna stumble. So I literally got my arm against this other guy, and I'm just your question. Don't pass out and don't cause a panic. I was worried about everybody. I don't want to. What am I gonna do? I got anthrax. We're in an elevator. Hey,
you're looking for a hazmat suit. You're thinking about your fellow man at this point.
Can you imagine what that would be like if I shot him? Help! I got anthrax.
Aaron, you would have caused a panic that college campus had never seen before.
Helicopters, F-15s.
You're being next thing you know, you're being flown to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in a hazmat suit. So you it's like you can only imagine. But Aaron, you felt like a specimen at this point. You're a walking specimen.
So I'm leaning against this guy. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm just like, get to the 10th floor. Get to the 10th floor. Get to the 10th floor. Ding. Everyone clears out. I didn't cause a panic. I didn't alert anybody because in my logical brain, I thought there still is a chance this is a mistake. It's probably just power. It's probably something I don't know, like the material when you lick an envelope. A lot of different things. It never happened in my life before. This is the thing. It's not a common occurrence. How many times have you opened a letter and white stuff comes in? It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
Hit the comments if this happens to you, or one has happened to you too, if this happens on an everyday basis, maybe once in a while. So my mind is spinning. I literally, almost crawl to my dorm. I get in bed and I don't know if I should go to the hospital or not because I don't want to be that guy that is it's causing panic. So my only thought would be lay here and see if you start feeling symptoms. Like lay here.
It's a dangerous road you're on.
Of course, by the way, I got the 24 hours news cycle. They're talking more about it. They're like, buildings,
shortness of breath.
And so I start feeling some pretty bad symptoms.
There it is.
I'm having a hard time breathing. And I start getting a temperature. Like I start feeling sick. I felt flu-like symptoms. Wasn't sure. A little heaviness in my chest. Having a hard time there. And I'm like, okay. And I call my mom. And I was like, I said, Mom, I said, I just want to tell you I love you. I said, I wouldn't alarm anybody. But I think I've been anthraxed.
I'm stepping away. I'm done.
And so she was like, sweetheart, I think you're okay. If you're, she was trying to calm me down. And Anthony, I said, Ma, I got a temperature of 100 degrees. I just opened it hours ago. Envelope comes in.
The end is near.
I got my shirt off, of course. I go in the shower, man. I'm scrubbing
When
everything.
don't you have a shirt off, by the way?
I take my shirt off. I'm scrubbing the shower. People in the because dorms, it's not like a community shower, but everybody goes in there. People, all they're hearing is me scrub. What is this guy doing? I'm like, I gotta get this off my shower. It was a nightmare. I felt like so alone. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. I'm 18. I was like, I can't live on my own at this point. I need to go back into the womb. I need to be a child. I need to be a child again. I am a child. And so the fever gets worse. I start feeling like I have the flu. And at this point, I feel like I need to risk the humiliation. And I go to urgent care.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I go out there and I'm like, I remember walking there feeling like, oh, I had to walk there because I didn't have a car. Freshmen don't have a car. So it's like 2 miles away. I'm walking through campus. I just thought I could die on the way. I thought maybe could die on the walk. This is it. I'm looking around. I'm looking at the birds. I'm waiting for my soul to leave my body. Everything's falling apart. I literally walk into the emergency room.
No.
And I like fall down and someone goes, everything okay? I said, I think I've been poisoned by anthrax.
No.
I said, I wouldn't alarm anybody. I don't want to alarm anybody.
You follow. So. Hold on a second. You walk in and you collapse to your knees.
Yep. Literally fall to my knees.
And you tell people I may have been anthrax and you follow it with, I don't want to alarm anybody. This is unbelievable.
So
what in the world, Aaron, what in the world follows that?
So it's a blur because I didn't pass out, but I remember them being like, are you serious? And someone was like, okay, don't worry. They sprung into action and did some things to ensure they gloves on. There wasn't any hazmats, but there was the first thing they did was assess. They did a great job of assessing if I was legitimately, if this happened. And one way or another, they didn't quarantine me or they just put me in a back room and someone came in with a mask and gloves, all masked up, gloved up. And I said and they said, okay, so tell me what happened. And I told them the story and they ran all these tests and clearly I had not been poisoned by anthrax.
Shout out. That's a shout out.
Shout out to clearly. I mean, everyone else knows this from the very beginning, but me in my head, considering what I just told you, it actually was a relief. I was like, oh my God, I'm not. And what I began to realize is they told me, and I've had these multiple times and kind of have reduced them over the years, but I was having a panic attack. So
right.
In addition, I did have a cold or a virus. So the fever and the things I was feeling on top of the anxiety, on top of the panic attack, probably on top of the bee sting I had a week before, migraines, and just the stress of everything happening took me into a spiral where now they said they checked, I don't have anthrax. The lady kind of, she was like, I've never seen this before. She didn't make me feel
There
bad,
it is.
but she was like, this is something I'll never forget. And I
Yeah.
told her, I said, this is going to be a great story one day. Had no idea I'd be telling it on BID or on my podcast. But I remember thinking, this is the craziest thing that's ever happened. By the way, the relief I felt
Yeah, that's major.
when I was like, I didn't have anthrax. But here's the thing, gotta leave with the question mark. Never found out what that white substance was.
You may never, Aaron.
No one knows. And I was like, and I like the doctors. I asked the doctor, I said, you mind if I ask you a question? I said, I know you're just a doctor, but like, you got to go to school to do that. You're a pretty smart person. Any idea what that white stuff could have been?
Right.
She goes, could have been anything. Could
Yeah.
have been anything.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Could have been
Could have been anything. It was probably
Never
powdered
figured
ham
out.
sugar.
Powdered sugar, or it could have been the stuff when you lick the envelope and it just got dry. Whatever it was, this is the thing, Anthony. I'm to my grave. I'll never be able to tie a bow on to what that stuff was. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know they said I didn't have it. I know they said they didn't think it was anthrax. And I believe them. 90% of me does. Because I don't know what that stuff was. I can't verify it. There's still a part of me that thinks I was nearly anthraxed. And I just escaped it. There's still a part of me that says, maybe, I don't know. Clearly, I'm fine. I'm good. Everything happened. And it was the craziest story, the craziest thing that has ever happened. But it was all really, I think, a symptom of what we were all going through at that time. Clearly, me in like a much lighter way than everybody else, and many people who are distinctly dealing with that tragedy, but just us as a nation, right? And I think we had that temperature rise in everybody. That temperature goes up. And it just so happened, though, to get a letter right after I saw that news bulletin about people getting anthrax. It's not like I made it up. Again, remember, imagine me in the elevator. Could you picture me in the elevator after that? So that's the full story, man. And I've never told it this way, this long, which is great because I did a 7-minute version, which I know you love on the 7-Minute Stories podcast.
That's what, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I got to be honest with you, with the way we broke it down today on BID, this is unique. There's nothing else like it because I've been able to you guided me along. I've been able to go along. I extended the story. There's details here, nuances, humor that you can't find anywhere else.
This is therapeutic.
It's therapeutic, man.
I have some final thoughts as well on this.
Jerry's final
Can't wait to share.
Let's do it. That's it for me.
You finished. I don't want to cut you off.
That's it. That's all.
First of all, thank you for viewers for sticking with Aaron and I, because this might be the first episode where I was legitimately brought to tears and had to take my glasses off. We step off camera. You're going to see that in all of our episodes, or a good portion of them. Here's what I'll say. And I'm still like, if you hear sniffles, it's literally because I was crying, like legitimately. Here's a couple final thoughts. First and foremost, thank God that you didn't get anthrax. We don't know what the
still don't know what it was.
We don't know what it was. Looking back at that first week of college, right? Like, it sounds like it was just a complete shit show. Like, let's be honest. But when you got to the end or the finish line of that first week and you had gone through all those life changes, like in those crazy events that happened in just a short couple days in 1 week, you probably felt at that point that 18-year-old Aaron Collier got through this. There's nothing that I can't get through going forward. So I think you learned a lot about yourself in that week. And I don't know if you've actually taken time to sit here. Maybe now we're unpacking that.
Yeah.
Like, think about the life change that you went through that week and all the different elements, 9/11, and then the possibility of getting anthrax on top of it. Like, the bee sting, the car ride, leaving home, new roommate, new experience, new college, 9/11, anthrax, urgent care visits. You have the flu on top of it. Aaron, you used this recently. You were in the vortex, right, of a tornado.
Yep.
Am I saying that right? Is that what we talked about?
No, actually, so if you are in a tornado, the best place to be would be right in the middle, just like a hurricane.
Got it.
Because it's the calmest. but when you get sucked in outside of that vortex, that was me. I'm literally from the Wizard of Oz. I'm spinning around in the tornado. I'm
Right.
literally, you're right. That is exact. I was literally in a tornado.
You
Couldn't
were in
get
a
out.
tornado. There was no way out, period. If you were encountering similar situations today, I think like you and I've talked about this before. We've learned different ways to process life events, whether tragic, whether good, whether kind of riding in the middle. I bet you would be riding in the vortex.
I think so. And I've learned over time through conversation, through therapy, through different things that there are going to be things that and listen, sometimes I've talked to people and you know this too. Here's the reality. Sometimes weird things happen to people more often than others. You and I just happen to have just weird, and that's what makes for great stories. All of us have these weird experiences, some more weird than others. Some people tell me like, I can't believe the stuff that happens to you. And I'm like, I don't know, it just happens. It's my life. How you deal with it. And
That's it.
clearly, dude, I didn't have the tools to deal with that
There it
stuff at
is.
that time. I still am still a disaster, but now it's a little better because you're right. I can soften those experiences.
Yeah.
My logical brain catches up a little quicker to my emotional brain.
Right.
Because as you know, the emotional brain it's quick and it starts making judgments and forecasts and predictions and catastrophizes everything. And I lived mostly in my emotional brain, which is a good thing, but it can be a double-edged sword. Now, what I do is when I have that experience, that emotional experience, I pause, I let the emotional brain catch, I'm sorry, the logical brain catch up. And when it does, then I make a more rational decision. But it's easier said than done. When you're in that situation, if you've ever been in something like that, if you've had something happen where you're like, oh my God, could this be me? You know, say like a recall on food, you're sitting there, we recalled the meat. You're like, and your mind's, there you go. In this
Stay in first
region,
gear.
yeah, try like, okay, be active, be aware, don't dismiss it, but don't get out of the vortex. Don't get caught in the tornado. Because honestly, like I probably could have saved myself a lot of grief if I didn't do that. But here's the thing, I don't regret it at that time because I got this story.
You got
This story,
life is about stories. It's about capturing the moment.
bro.
Thank you for sharing that today, my
No,
friend.
dude, love doing this. Can't wait for the next BID.
Shout out to the staff.
Shout out to the staff.